7 did it again.
Night and day, I'm away. Can't complain, I get paid. But either way, the sky's the gray. Get the bag, leave no trace. I know that you don't see me lately, I'm hardly getting sleep. Diamonds in my vision, I know diamonds make you weak. You call my phone, but I'm back on D&D. No going home, made a home inside the street. Let's raise our glass and make a toast. The crown is heavy, not as heavy as my big ego. I was sitting in the trap, writing every goal. Fell in love with these pinkies, I'll never let you go. Marry the money, I say my bye. I blow the whistle, you're moving fast. Give me your trust, I won't let you down. Been through hella bricks.
Welcome everyone to another special show. Today we've got a special guest, goes by the name of Kwame. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good, man. Good to see you.
I mean, you've been all over our screens over the last month. Everyone's been hooked on the show. I mean, how are you from the back of that show? Like, all this newfound fame, how you finding this, man?
Yeah, I feel good. You know what I mean? It's one of the things I loved is it sparked a lot of conversations, you know, from a male perspective in terms of relationships. But it's been good. It's been positive.
I mean, let's take it way back because I knew you before the show, so I can take it back to two. Before we even talk about how I know you, let's talk about yourself. I mean, where are you from? Where did you grow up? Yeah,
so born and raised East London. That's the main area. So been representing East London for a minute. Old boy now, got 2 beautiful children. I run a company, small business consultancy, also work in care as well. And just someone who's all about empowerment, raising people, pushing people forward,
So in regards to sort of upbringing, did you grow up with both parents, mum, dad?
I grew up mainly with my dad. So my parents separated at a young age, but you know, we've always been together as a family, same way. But yeah, my old man brought me up in sunny Leighton.
Okay. Did you have siblings?
Yes, I got a younger sister.
Okay.
I call her my big little sister.
Yeah. And the family background?
Ghanaian.
100%
Ghanaian, yeah.
What tribe? I'm asking, I don't even know the tribes.
Yeah, I'm a Santini.
Okay.
So from Ashanti tribe.
That's the main one, right now?
Well, yeah, the others might cuss that, the people from other tribes. But yeah, I think the Kwame and Nkrumahs, the Santiwas, we're all Ashanti.
Okay. Ambition-wise, growing up, what is it that you wanted to be?
Initially, it was athletics. I was more into athletics, you know, I did a little bit of borough athletics. I think I got to know people like DJ Longers and that through them times there. And then went into a little bit of music. Okay. So yeah, I had a little crew called Rhythmical Army. Used to drop some bars. Managed to perform in front of Westwood one time when he used to hold clubs up in Temple. In Seven Sisters.
Was it MCing or rapping?
Yeah, no, rapping.
Okay.
Rapping, yeah. Doing a proper rap. I wanted to be a proper rapper. MySpace days. So
I mean, being a bit older, wasn't it a thing that where you jumped on the jungle thing, or was it just straight rap from?
No, it was straight rap, man. You know, them times there was inspiration from people like Park, Snoop. You know, I was more of the West Coast, Ice Cube and all of that. So yeah, I wanted to be them. This is like, I was like from age 15, rapping to about 19, yeah.
I mean, growing up in London isn't easy. How did you kind of sort of work your way around trying to avoid the certain lifestyle that people get into, or did you actually dibble and dabble in it yourself?
Do you know, I grew up on an estate where all of that was around. You know, I went college in Hackney, so I was always around it. But it's why I always shout out good parenting, because my parents gave me like the focus. So I was always in the mix, but I always, you know, you reach that point where you're like, it's time to go home. Or, do you know what, let me go back to my books.
Yeah.
So education was always like the main focus. So school, college, uni, and then I managed to get like a degree in biochemistry.
Okay.
So science was always intrigued by science, you know, I'm heading the books. So it was a good balance, enough to be in the streets, but not enough to get in trouble. And that kept me on the straight and narrow.
Yeah. And then you said you went to go to do a degree in biochemistry.
Yeah. So I did a degree in biochemistry. came out of uni and I was like, I do not want to work in this. I'd worked a little bit in Whittington Hospital in Archway, and I was like, this ain't me. And then I went into sales because I always had like what you might call gift for the gab. So I started working in Carphone Warehouse, got up to manager there, and then I wanted to do more corporate sales. And then I went into recruitment. And then from doing recruitment, I then set up, I saw how much money was in it, and then I set up my own company. Called Blueprint Recruitment, and started working with ex-offenders, lone parents, 16 to 24-year-olds. And that's the era when you and I met.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that takes me back to 2015.
Yeah.
I'm fresh out of jail, no more money, broke, come out. I've got a plan. I want to start this football club. And they sent me to see you. They said, oh, you know what? Job center answered that, yeah, you need to get a job. Probation are involved. You need to go and get a job. And I think you done a workshop, was in Stratford.
That's right, yeah. It was in Stratford in a company called Working Links.
Yeah.
And there was a group of y'all there, and I had jobs in Stratford Westfield, perfume shop, mother care, new look.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you offered me the perfume shop. You said, yeah, they'll take you.
Yeah.
And I said, I think I pulled you at the side at the end. I said, big man, I appreciate the workshop.
Yeah.
But I've got a plan to do my own thing. I don't really want to work in, especially for other people, but especially going to go and work at a perfume shop.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of told you what I'd kind of started and what my ambition was.
That's
and
right.
you kind of remember this tale that you told me? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, I said a man who doesn't have any food in his fridge.
You have to tell it properly, because if people don't know, because guys, this is a very important, I guess, word of wisdom that was told to me that really pushed me and encouraged. I mean, you have to take it from the very start. Like you told me, there was 2 hunters you went to go and eat.
That's right, yeah.
So please tell us.
Yeah, so basically, you know, in life you have 2 type of hunters. You have the person who has the food in his cave, it's all filled up, the fridge is stocked, if you like. And then you have the other person who has no food, he has nothing to go by. And the difference in the person who hunts, who has food already at home, who already has something to go by, is never going to be as strong as the man who has nothing. He has nothing to lose. He's going to be out there hunting, and he's not coming home until he has that food, because there's nothing for him to go by. So my advice to Bobby was, you need to be that guy, that hunter. Drop everything out, put 100% of your focus into acquiring that meal, and you're going to be a different kind of hunter and more likely to be successful.
And honestly, that meant a lot to me, because I use that same manifestation. And so even when times get a bit difficult now, because you're an entrepreneur, you know how it is when you work for yourself. You're only gonna get the next meal if you work. You can't rely when you work for other people. You know, every single month your salary is gonna be paid. But for us, if you don't do the work, no money comes in. So that's something that I still kind of take on board. And then you went from that, and then you started kind of doing, because I was a guest on your podcast as well.
That's right.
So
yeah.
What brought you about the idea of you doing a podcast?
Yeah, so because I had now developed my business and I moved from recruitment to being like business consultancy, I started meeting a lot more people like yourself that I call champions or community heroes, who have gone from, you know, maybe working for someone and building their own company and empowering others, doing positive things within the community. So I wanted to create a platform, and I call it the KB Talk Show, where I meet people who have achieved this and use their story to, you know, exhibit to other people so they can also be inspired. Because I think it's amazing. Like your story, Bobby, is great. It's showing how, I think, what did we call ours, from ex-offender to businessman? Yeah. And that, how many people will be able to relate to that story or be inspired or empowered by that story? So the whole purpose of that was because so many people want to know, how do I become a business owner? How do I start my business? This platform was there, this podcast is there to show people this is how this man did it or this woman did it, so you can do it too.
And is it something you're going to be continuing, or you put it on hold for now?
Yeah, no, definitely continuing. I mean, with recent events, it slowed it down a bit, but yeah, definitely I've got Master Knowledge, Spencer Fearon. Yeah. He's on there. I've also got Emmanuel Asukwo, the E-Man Effect. He does a lot of finance. It's on Sky News. So 2 of them are 2 people I've interviewed recently, and I'm going to be sharing their story, which is really powerful. So that'll be coming out soon.
I mean, in regards to relationships, I mean, you have two beautiful daughters.
Yeah.
Was that a long-term relationship that you was in before?
Absolutely, yeah. So during my early years before becoming self-employed, I met the mother of my kids, and we actually got married. We were together for about 15 years and got two beautiful children from it.
I mean, for someone like myself who's looking to get married very soon, relationships can be tough. They can be hard, but can also be very joyous.
Yeah.
15 years is a long time to be with someone.
No doubt.
At which point would you say it kind of was time that you decided we have to go our separate ways, or she decided to go separate ways?
Yeah, I think, in life you're ever changing. Your mindset, your focus, your wants, your needs, they continually change. And I think, if you live in a home, especially if you have children and you find that you're both on different paths, I think the mature thing to do is to have that discussion with your partner and decide, is this something that's good for us moving forward, not only for ourselves, but more importantly for our children. I do believe a lot of couples stay together for the kids, and I'm kind of against that because the kids are then growing up in an unhappy home. So before it gets to that stage, if try marriage counseling, therapy, do everything. Make sure when you look back, you gave it your best shot. But once you reach that place where it's no longer viable, then you guys can separate and become great co-parents where, you work together to raise your kids the best way. And that's the area that we reached.
Was it hard to do the separation?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a black man in London. I worked really hard, not only to build my relationship, but to acquire a home for us to live in, because I wanted my kids to grow up in a house. I grew up on the 20th floor in a council flat. So, building all of that as a man, I feel like it's kind of, this is my opinion, that as a man, you step away and you leave the empire that you built for the mother. She's the primary carer for your children to live in. As a man, if you're a G, you'll come out and you'll build again, but at least then your children have a foundation, they have a proper home to stay in.
So then came a show which I first came to my attention, the Australian version.
Yeah.
I was watching it all over Christmas, like binging on it. I'm like, this is crazy. This show
Wow.
is mad. I didn't even know there was one in the UK. So when someone said there's something in the UK, I'm like, UK all seems kind of grey. The TV looks kind of grey.
Yeah.
Thinking that, I want some sunny places. And then I saw it. Kwame's gonna be on there. Alison actually pointed out, Kwame's gonna be on. What do you call it?
Married at First Sight.
And I'm like, swear down. So I started seeing, I'm like, oh, cool, we have to tune in.
And I put it in my stories and did a poll, and 80% of my followers were like, go for it, do it. There was 20% I was like, nah, don't sell your soul to the devil and all of this. And
what were your own apprehensions?
Main thing for me is, I do want to protect the privacy of my children. There's certain aspects of my life that, I think it's important to keep private. Going on a TV show is very difficult to do that. I'm involved in two businesses, the one I run and the family run business. So that will mean I'm going to be taking a huge amount of time out of that. And I'll say finally, I think you have to know TV shows are built for entertainment. And it may sometimes be at your expense, the entertainment portrayed as a brand, as a person. So I was also concerned, how will I be portrayed on the show? So those three things were what made me apprehensive about it. But
was you at all wary about anyone, like old ex-girlfriend who come up and say, oh yes, Kwame done this, and an ex-friend from schools will have a story as well? Did that
I mean, there's always the fear of someone coming out and saying something negative about you. But I like to think, I'm not an angel, I'm not perfect, but I like to think that I'm a good person. So I have a good relationship. Most people that know me from back in the day, most of them will say, that's a good guy. And, even in relationships, I'm honest. So even if it comes down to a relationship ending, we talk it out, we speak about it. So I'd like to think that there's no negativity out there. So that wasn't really a worry for me. Yeah.
So it came about then, you was chosen. How did you feel? Did you have to speak to your ex-wife, speak to your children? How was that?
Absolutely, yeah. I got the phone call, Kwame, we found your wife, and that's when it's real. You also have to sign a contract as well, NDAs, etc. So yeah, one of the first things I did was I had to let the mother of my kids know, because I'm heavily in my children's lives. You know, I see my daughters, they're with me, they're with mom. So that's obviously gonna change. And the duration of filming, you're looking like 2 months if you stay, you know, through the length of it. So yeah, I had to make it clear to her. So that was a strange conversation.
Was she supportive, or is that?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that I negotiated with production of the show is that I want to still be able to see my kids.
Yeah.
And they were very kind to do that. So they allowed me to see my kids. Even one of my daughters, was their birthday during filming. So I was able to see them. And I run a business as well. So they would give me my phone and my laptop and allow me to do work as well as communicate with my kids.
So you wasn't even allowed to have your regular phone?
No, the rules are you're completely cut off from the world whilst you're on the show.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, I mean, for me and my counterpart, Kasia, we both run businesses. So we both, you know, before we even knew each other, had negotiated that we're going to need to have our phones, we're going to need to have access to our laptops as and when. So you don't have it all the time, but, you know, they'll bring it to the apartment, you do your bits, you give it back to them, and then you get on with filming and so forth.
Okay, so it comes down to, you've done the process,
Yeah.
you're there now, the wedding day. How are you feeling? What's going through your mind?
Scared, prang, shooketh, what are all the words? I was scared, bro. You know, it was like, this is real now. Like, I'm going to basically meet a complete stranger at the top of the aisle, you know, where it's basically set up for you to say, I do, whether you like or not. And, you know, there is always that thought that if I don't like, it's going to be very embarrassing for the person if I turn around and walk away. Similarly, if she don't like me, she can walk up the aisle and say, nah, this ain't for me. I don't wish to continue with this, and walk away. And it'll all be for nothing, and obviously very embarrassing. So yeah, you're scared, man.
But how was the process in the first place? Because to you say, this is my type, this is what
Right.
I like, and so on. So with you saying, I'm assuming you'd have said, oh, you like women who are petite. When you saw it was Kasia, what was your kind of initial thoughts? Because she's a beautiful woman.
Yeah, absolutely. So before you go onto the show, you sit down with the experts. Mine was Paul Brunson. That's the black guy who's one of the experts on the show. And so he sits down with you and asks you exactly what it is you would look for, and also ask for some examples. Like, so if I were to go online, who would be that example? And that's where I mentioned, like, not someone with the, how do you put it, money or finance or status of Beyonce and Rihanna. But if you're asking me shape-wise, my usual type, or women who I have dated in the past, my kid's mom, this is what they look like, you know.
But is Beyonce petite?
No, I mean, when I'm saying petite, I'm talking like, maybe I usually date a size 10.
Okay.
You know, size 8, size 10, maybe a 12. Those are usually the types I go for. And you know the thing, Bobby, I want people to move away from the fact that someone's stating their preference as a negative.
Yeah.
I think
I was just going to talk about it, because women talk about how their man has to be 6'2", has to be chocolate, has to have a beard, and so everyone has a preference. You're not saying, you're not fat shaming anyone or height shaming anyone. You're saying, this is my preference, this is what I like. So yeah.
And you're lucky, Bob, you fall in that caption.
Slowly but surely. Don't know about this new hairstyle though, my missus ain't on it. But
she ain't on it?
Yeah,
oh, mate.
But yeah, so you walk down the aisle, I mean, you're there, and then you see this lady walking towards you.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this is an attractive woman. And, you know, from even the family, seeing them, I thought, okay, you know, they've given me a sister. That was tick box number 1. I had said to them, I'm impartial. You know, I don't mind white, black, Asian, but I said my preference is a sister. So great. And then also I wanted someone who was a team player, and I also prefer a woman who has children or a child, ideally, because I too have children. So when I saw her, I was happy. This bubbly, bouncy, very strong personality woman was coming up the aisle. So I was gassed. What I did say to the experts is that visuals is not my focus. I have been dating what I will call very attractive women for a long time, since even the breakdown of my, with my kid's mom, which was a marriage. So you tend to learn when you've been in a long-term relationships that it's not all about looks. Looks fade. It's about personality. It's about character. It's about values. It's about sinking in love languages. So for me, it was like, okay, this is a good start, but the important stuff, that's what I need to see now. Yeah. And once that falls into place, that's when you're gonna see an even bigger smile than I showed on the aisle.
I mean, why didn't you bring any of your family to the wedding?
You know what, Bobs? I'm from an African family, Ghanaian family, and I remember they're like, well, my mom, my sister, my dad, they're like, listen, we support you, go do your thing, but we're not going on national TV. My mom's a pastor. She's ordained. She runs a church. So, she's also a director of a care company. So it's you have to be mindful. And we all know reality TV, how sometimes it can be depicted. You can be depicted. So for them, they were like, look, we support you, but we're not on that. And these are one of the very first things that I made known to Kasia from the outset, that listen, if we come off this and we're together, they'll be waiting at the door to greet us. We'll have a traditional wedding and it'll be on and popping, but the show ain't for them.
Okay, so obviously weddings happen now. You seem to be comfortable. You guys are having some fun. Honeymoon, what's going on?
I tell you something, that wedding wasn't even some fun. It was lit. Like we did the candy, we did Soul Train. I had African traditional drummers and dancers that came out. It was amazing. And we're filming from like 9 a.m. to 11 at night. So unfortunately, and I don't blame them. They're only gonna show like 2 minutes of the entire wedding day. And again, it's gotta be good entertainment. So they grabbed the bits that are the bits. But it was an amazing wedding day, and continued into the honeymoon. The honeymoon was great, and that allowed us to really get to know each other. We was in Maldives. I mean, best place.
You're in Maldives.
Yeah.
You just married this attractive lady.
Yeah.
It's your wife.
No doubt.
What happened with the intimacy?
I wasn't ready for it. And the main reason I weren't ready for it is because I wanted to make sure I know this woman properly. And I actually, for me, I want to see certain values. I want to know, because if I sleep with you, for me, that's almost like signing a contract, like saying, yeah, we're good. It's me and you for life.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Go for it, my brother.
I'm assuming as an older man, right?
Yeah.
You have slept with people without any contracts, without any without any aftercare.
Absolutely.
So why did your conscience really kick in this time then?
Because it's a marriage.
Okay.
And because from 24 hours of even knowing Kasia, I also came to realize that, this woman is a powerful, great woman. She's also a mother. I don't want to go to a certain territory with her if I'm not ready. I'm not here for cameras. I'm not here to just do what she wants. It also has to be when I'm ready, which is similarly, as a man, Bobby, I'm sure you meet a woman. The woman likes you. She's on you, but she's not ready to be intimate on the first date or the second date. But as men, we wait and go, okay, when you're ready, babe.
Do you think there's a double standard there?
I think there's a huge double standard in the opinion in society that it's okay for a woman to make a man wait, but if a man does it, then it's bad, or he doesn't like, or what's wrong with you? I've been called all sorts of names for not sleeping with her.
Because before you got here, the man them were talking, they're like, yeah, man, what for man?
What's wrong with you? Yeah, and this is normal. But if I were a female counterpart here and I had been on the show and it's like, I was making a man wait, we actually look at that as a positive thing. Yeah. And you know what? You're a queen. You're not loose. You make a man wait and get to know him first before you allow him into your love garden, if you like.
Devil's advocate again.
Yeah, man.
If she had looked like a Rihanna or a Beyonce, would it have been any different?
I'm going to tell you this from now. My decision before going on the show was about making anyone I meet wait. Because if that's the case, I don't need to go on the show. I meet beautiful women all the time that I could just meet you, bang, smash. That is not a difficulty. but I'm here to try and find somebody who I need, not someone who I just want, to find the right values. So even my friends had advised me, they didn't show it on the show, but they were like, you know what, Kwame, you usually go, you know, heart first. You run in, you rush in, and you're quick to fall in love and all of that. And they said, look, they even advised me, do things different this time, because that's how you're gonna get a different result. You want this relationship to work, even if you're on it and you want her, take your time, get to know the woman before you get physically or sexually intimate with her.
Was it hard? Was it a thing that where she would try it on at night time and then the rejection? How was it for her at the time when you?
Yeah, this is the thing. Of course, it's hard, pun intended. You know, I had a very candid conversation with Kasia at the honeymoon, where I said to her, "Look, babes, this is where my head's at. This is where I am, and this is how I would like us to move. I want to get to know you properly. You know, your life. You know, why have your what are your kids like? What is your life like? These were the things that were fun. You know, why have your relationships not worked in the past? What brought you here? These were the things that were fundamental and mattered to me." And then sort of syncing up and aligning. And I assured her that once we get to that place, then the intimacy thing is going to be even better. And she was very understanding of that. You know, I just think where things went wrong was because the honesty box was in front of everyone else, and it was awkward.
Do you think she was just horny?
No, I think she was just ready. Her love language is intimacy, straight up. And so I like you, I'm ready, we're married, I'm good to go. And I respect that, that's great. It's just that for me, I weren't. Mine was based on other factors. You know, I want to know that we're actually going to have a life out of here. I don't want to be the couple that we sleep with each other, and then 2 weeks later I'm like, you know what, we ain't really got a spark, or you're nice, but I'm still not sure if we're really going to be a relationship. For me, I think that's a disrespect, especially on national TV.
Did you ever actually look at her as, you know what, this could be for life?
Absolutely. I think as time went on, I started to really get to know the character of Kasia, put aside the visuals, and I started to see this is what the experts looked at to find someone for me. Do you see what I mean? As a mother, as a business owner, I'm living with this woman 24/7. And that's a big plus for me. Any man who lives with a woman knows if you can live in harmony and peace and even have fun with someone you're with 24/7, no phone, no socials, that's a big plus. And so at that point, I was starting to grow into the place of this can actually pop. Let's leave and actually go and start living our lives.
So what was it that made you actually then decide, was it at that point you said, you know what, we can now get intimate? And how was it? Was it worth the wait at the time?
Yeah, I think for me, it was always building and getting to that place. There was still more that I wanted to find out before we went there foolhardy. So it was gradually getting there. But I'm not gonna lie, it weren't easy. You know, the wants and needs are, I'm a man. That's their calling. But that's what's got me in trouble in the past or not made my relationships work. You know, and then I didn't want to do that without being 100% sure within myself.
So, I mean, one of the things that the expert would say was sometimes that you weren't actually listening to what she wanted, it's more so about what Kwame wanted. Did you actually ever see that in yourself? Oh yeah, they said that I'm the one in control. Yeah. And I found that funny, I found that hilarious, because if you know Kasia, ain't nobody controlling that woman. Do you see what I mean? But I think that's what makes a good relationship, not me being in control, but basically things moving forward when both of you are ready to move forward. We're both ready to be intimate. We're both ready to have children. We're both ready to go and invest in a property. It shouldn't be one-sided. And this again is the double standardness that I've been talking about since coming off the show. Why is it wrong for a man to want to wait and be 100% sure? Because isn't this what we always hear our queens always talk about? I want a man to know and love me for more than just my, than sexually. I want him to love me for me and all the other things that go with it. The irony is when I showed that, for many women, it didn't really bode well. I mean, it got to the point of where it was the home visits. Yeah, the infamous. Kasia took you to her home.
Yeah.
You met her family.
Yeah.
You took her to a park in Leighton.
Why y'all laughing, man?
Bro.
It's a good part. No, do you know what?
Can you see the disrespect a little bit?
Let me. I mean, I don't see it as a disrespect. No, I don't, because when you hear and understand the context, then of course I think you will see it wasn't a disrespect. It was more. I just think for the general public, a misunderstanding.
Okay.
So to put things into context, like I said earlier, before I went onto the show, I said to them, I'm not showing my kids. They wanted my kids on the show. I'm not showing them, and I'm also not showing my place where I stay. I don't live in a park. So this was a contractual agreement, and the show agreed, like, okay, we ain't gonna do that. So in my backstory, Bubs, if you saw the beginning, where I'm wearing the Angelina, I'm dancing in a yard, that was an Airbnb that they had acquired for me. So when it now came to the homestay, I said to production, right, can we repeat that? Get me the same place, or even get me an Airbnb in Leighton so I can show her the area and that. And they said to me, unfortunately, we cannot find an Airbnb. And this was the day before filming. I said, really? Okay, so what are we gonna do, postpone filming? They said, no, we've spoken to the local park, Coronation Gardens, and spoke to the borough, and they've agreed that we can film there. So I was like, okay, and they said we will also then go to the next place that you've picked. So I turned to Kasia and I said to her, okay, this is what they're saying. Are you cool with that? This is what they're saying, are you cool with that? And Kasia was like, yeah, no, I completely understand. Even to one point, she even agreed that she was gonna do an Airbnb as well. You know, and I said, yeah, you're a single woman. You live with your children. We live in London. This ain't Derby. This ain't, Yorkshire. It's bait. People can follow you home. So be mindful of that.
But the thing is, could you just not have shown the inside of your house? And why did you contractually didn't want them to film your house? Is it too intimate for you?
Yeah, I wanted to keep that. I mean, to be real with you, Bobby, if they're filming in your yard, this is big Channel 4, the whole street's gonna know. You're gonna have wires coming out your front door, people coming in and out your house. It is bait. I just thought the safest thing is, let me use another property. And I weren't the only one that didn't do a homestay. There were several other cast members who didn't take their partners to their home. But I just think it's easier to look at me and go and judge. And I think what I thought was a bit naughty of the show is that they didn't highlight in the same park bench that I said to Kasia, I'm more than happy to take you to my home privately.
Yeah.
I will book an Uber. Once filming is done, then we'll go to my yard. And she went. But she didn't want to go there. No, we never went. I offered it, but she didn't want to go there. I mean, she didn't say no, but there wasn't that, okay, you know what, filming's done, money where your mouth is. You said, let's go to your yard, can we go? That never happened. So I took it as, she's not fazed. And she knows once we come off this process, we're still together. You're gonna see my yard every day. It's under nothing. So, that's how I took it. But what people need to understand is it makes good TV to cut out my explanation and make it look as if I put her in a cab and said, all right, Uber, stop here. Let's get out and just walk into a park. Come on, man. The production, the film production are the ones that acquired that for us.
I mean, then when it came to sort of choosing whether to stay or leave,
yeah,
it seemed that it come as a shock to you that she wanted to leave. Like, how did you not see that?
Yeah, we had been together for, I think it had been 6 weeks. And we always spoke if we had an issue. We hadn't had an issue since the honesty box, which was like week 2. Yeah. We had no issues. We got on really well. I'm talking to her mom, her kids, we're video calling each other's kids from the apartment. So the last thing I'm thinking is, yeah, we're not in a good place, but the last thing I'm thinking is she's gonna leave without communicating that with me. And we hadn't spoken since I left her home from the homestay. So I'm thinking, if she's gonna put leave, like this is the end, we're gonna actually talk. So I didn't know where her head was at. I didn't know what her sisters had said, like feedback of me. I didn't know anything, Bobby. So I was, for a long part of the time, I was in the yard by myself. She stayed at home a little bit longer before she came back. And then we were filming, so we never actually spoke. So I had an inkling, but seeing that, it was a surprise to me, seeing when she actually did that. Because I was like, yo, me and you, we're cool. At least to a level where you would say to me, you know what, Kwame, this is the end, I'm leaving.
But then, I mean, do you think she did to embarrass you?
I don't know, bro. I have no idea. Do you know what I mean? And one of the things, like, my mindset has always been, and coming off the show, is I'm not going to put down anybody. I don't even want to speak negatively, especially about a black woman. I think black women standardly get a bad rap. You know, they're aggressive, they're sexually this, they're that. I even think the depiction of Kasia on the series, there's a lot more to her. They gave a lot of sexual thing. There was a lot more to her than just being, I want to get some, you know. So I'm not going to sit and say that. The main thing is our relationship weren't perfect. We had problems. We tried to work on it, and it got to a point where it didn't work, and she wanted to leave.
But the rules were that if someone wants to leave and the other doesn't want to leave, you can continue.
That's right.
Was it your pride that said, you know what, all right, cool, fuck it?
No, it wasn't pride. If it were pride, I probably would have kept the stay. Like, no, you ain't leaving. We both gotta stay here. We leave when I'm ready, especially when they're saying I'm in control. No, it was a case of, we had always agreed from the outset that no one was gonna make anyone stay beyond what they want. Okay. So, you know, if I want to leave, she's not gonna make me stay if she wants to leave that. So, you write down what your thing is long before you know what your partner's put. So I put stay because I thought I had my vow renewal suit ready on the bed, bro. You know what I mean? I was ready for it. Right, next week vow renewal, I'm getting ready to write my speech. So that's why all of it was a surprise. So, but once I saw she wants to leave, I'm like, listen, hun, no qualms.
Had she not say leave, do you think you guys would still be together now?
I think we had a great opportunity to build something, absolutely. But what I really wanted to find out, Bobs, was what it would be like for us outside the experiment. It's an unnatural, unreal setup. You have no phone, no access, you're with each other 24/7. Your kids are not there, your businesses are not there, your friends and family are not there. It's really hard to speak of the future based on that environment. Let's come out where we got our whips, where you've got work, where, I got my kids on the weekend, so let's go for a date next Tuesday, let's do this. That reality is what I think would have been the ultimate thing to know, we have a future.
Is that something that still can't happen now, or is that just, are you guys in the conversation?
Yeah, I think, no, we're not in conversation. I think it's reached a place now where, our journey has stopped. I would like to think in the near future that we could be friends, that we could just talk, how you doing? Because we went through quite a life-changing experience together, especially when you're seeing everyone else is cool, irrespective of how their relationship went. Why can't we be cool, So it is sad in that regard, but no, I'm more than happy, man. I've got my family, I've got my kids, life is moving forward, and, and I had a great time, and I'm happy. I'm happy. If it stops here, it is what it is.
And how was it when you saw to scribble out your image on and you end up in the shade bar? How was that?
Yeah, I mean, well, I got in shade borough, so that was interesting. Although I was scribbled out, but look, man, that's not how I roll. That's not how I operate. I think it would have even been interesting to see the reaction if I had done something like that, but. That's not me, man. I'd never scribble out. I don't want to show any shade or throw any shade. I think great mom, great woman, and I wish her all the best. Let's just keep it moving.
Was there any other person in the show that you thought, I wish it was her?
No, absolutely not. Especially when we moved to the apartments. Yeah. I actually feel like I had the best wife. I think if I were with any of the other women, I don't think I would have lasted in the process as long. Especially when I saw what was going on. Just what I mean. Like I said, there were great elements of a wife that I saw, there were elements there. There was things that were also like, no, but there were also good elements that let me know, okay, this is the foundation for a marriage.
Why did you bait out the couple, man? I forgot their names. Doesn't spring to
Oh,
mind.
Matt and Gemma. Oh no, it was Matt and Whitney.
Yeah, why did you bait them up? I mean, did you know about it already?
Yeah, you know, I had been approached by Whitney. You know, she gets a bad rap, but Whitney actually, well, Kasia woke me up in the middle of the night about maybe 2 days beforehand and said, look, Whitney wants to speak to you. And I was like, what's up? And Whitney was like, look, I really like Matt, but as you know, I'm with Duka. And I want to, the thing with Duka's dead in the water. I want to now proceed with Matt. But obviously he's married to Gemma. So I advised her to say, look, just let them know. Let Duka know and let Gemma know, because I think they're older. And I also said, I think it would be better that they all left and they continued their relationship off the experiment, just out of respect for Gemma and Duka.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think Whitney took my advice and she told Duka, but Matt didn't get round to telling Gemma. And by the dinner party, everybody knew. The whispers were there, everyone was talking, and I just really felt sorry for Gemma and Duka. And what I didn't like was seeing that Matt was still moving like...
Being a hypocrite.
Yeah, he was still moving like him and Duka are cool and consoling him and showing him love. So I was just sat there and I saw it and I just thought, this is a disrespect. And I just put it out there. Let's just get this out there because it's gone too far now.
Who could you just not stand in there? Who's like, oh, I can't stand this person?
Nobody, you know. I literally got on with everyone. And if you watch us on socials now, you'll see how much after parties and outside things we did. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, I got on with everyone. I think the person I was probably most distant from at the beginning was Whitney.
Yeah.
But that's just because we just didn't talk. Yeah. And then after a while, you know, by the resort time, we were cool.
I mean, what's the future now? Are you looking to date? Are you seeing what's out there?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you know, the show stopped early part of summer, beginning of summer. So yeah, I've been out for a while. So yeah, I've been dating and definitely looking. At the end of the day, Bobby, I wanna have what you have. I wanna have my queen, living with her, ring on the finger. We're happy. We're a team. We're making each other grow, move forward. You know, and that's what I'm after. So, you know, hopefully soon, man. Watch this space. I'm optimistic.
And what about with the new social life now? Is it something that you're gonna use this now, this personality, get yourself out there, do more shows?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it. I really loved my life before even going on the show. I'm gonna be honest and empower children. So I definitely and actually speak to a proper school. I'm even looking into getting funding in Kumasi and actually speak to a proper school. I'm even looking into getting funding to actually even building a school back home and then doing the teaching there. So those are some of the things, funding to actually even building a school back home and then doing the teaching there. So those are some of the things that I really want to do. But yeah, you know, I'm also open to other opportunities that come, and it's nice being a social representative, you know, if you like.
No, amazing, man.
Yeah, man.
Guys, there was Kwame. Thank you for coming down, man. Someone that's played a big part in my journey as well, man. So big
Thank
up
you.
man.
I'll big up yourself too, man.
Thank you.
Boom.